I'd next like to talk about Esri and our work. We see our work as fundamentally creating useful technology that supports you and your work, doing your work better. That's how we're wired. You talk to any Esri person, it's in their DNA. And in the process of this, addressing all the major challenges that all of us are facing. That's the context I want to set before we move forward. And the vehicle, the mechanism that we do this with is ArcGIS, this technology that many of you use. To frame this better, we might describe that ArcGIS is a comprehensive geospatial platform, and it's open. It's now completely services-based, so it's web services, this thing I've been talking about. And it's also for individuals, it's also for work groups, it's also for teams, it's also for organizations, and as you'll see during the morning and the afternoon, it's spreading out to involve and engage communities. ArcGIS supports two kinds of fundamental communities. One is the traditional GIS, systems of record, etc. And the other one is this whole emerging world of more simplified mapping and location analytics. And it embodies the ability to organize and store and manage all types of data. It does this by organizing content and information products that you create and models, and also organizing people into one set of user experiences so I can actually organize and access this geographic knowledge across my organization. Now, I'm sorry I skipped a slide here ahead, but I wanted to make the point here that it actually organizes all types of measurements: vector data, raster data, image data, LiDAR data, whatever. And it abstracts that data into a common language of maps and scenes and layers. That's how the technology really works. It's through abstraction. That's what makes it so pervasive across the web. It focuses in three main areas of the enterprise, actually all departments of the enterprise. First, in the data management, system of records, and second, in the analytics world, systems of insights, and third, perhaps most important these days, is systems of engagement, which allow engagement of everyone in the organization, and now increasingly with whole communities. That's the big next step. I would like now to move a little faster in talking about what's happening inside of the tools that you use every day, both for location intelligence and for core GIS. Lots of things are happening, and I know you guys are working hard to keep up with it. I'll try to go through a high-level view, and then during the workshops during the week, you'll get deeper knowledge. At the core of GIS is data management, and here we're supporting new industry models in utilities and in roads and highways, pipelines, and so on. We're adding, listen carefully, we're adding a new kind of data type. This is unstructured data. It's like you have in text files. And it'll read through the text files and find geocodes using gazetteers and try to geocode text. Interesting to any of you? Maybe. I think so. We've also improved editing in 3D, lots of new tools, and expanding the geodatabase support, taking it to the cloud. And also, at this release, full support of your geodatabases in SAP HANA. In the last year, we've worked very hard with our colleagues at Autodesk Corporation to integrate our respective products. We now can do direct integration between their engineering products and BIM modeling and ArcGIS. This comes down to being able to read ArcGIS services directly inside of things like InfraWorks or AutoCAD, etc. And in turn, also the ability to read BIM files, Revit files, directly inside of Pro, which means we can spread out and use this new 3D BIM information across an entire city. Okay, that's technically what's happening. But in a greater context, this has sort of turned and made come alive the whole integration of design, engineering with your world, the GIS world. And we're going to see an exciting demo of that after the break. ArcGIS continues to support apps that work in the field. And these are getting better and expanding for field data collection, field coordination, and now taking maps as map books, digital map books into the field and being able to work with them. While these are technical things, the big deal for me is that these are all connected to the enterprise system so that we can see in real time where everybody's at and help them coordinate their work. Speaking about dashboards, did I talk about dashboards this morning? I think maybe I did. One of the reasons why they're coming alive is they have been completely re-engineered with web services-based dashboards. This is, by the way, this is the second most popular app to story maps. And people are just like crazy deploying them because they're very easy to set up. One city, the city of, I think it's, I hope I get this right, Wichita, Kansas, they've deployed over 300 dashboards. I mean, they're looking at everything in the city, as you would imagine, a smart city. The content that we maintain inside of ArcGIS Online is basically yours. And there are millions and millions and millions of data sets that you have shared so that other people can use it. But at ESRI, we've also set about 6,000 data sets and services that cover the globe and the United States in great detail. And these are what we call the living atlas. We spend a lot of money on and time on curating this data into ready-to-use services. And this year, we're releasing some new things. All new vector base maps have now been released. A new dynamic OpenStreetMap service, which you don't know about. This will allow, when people update OpenStreetMap just a little bit later, you'll be able to have it in your vector data set, like minutes. Do you like this idea? This is a cool idea. We are adding Sentinel. We have added Sentinel, the new space imagery from Europe, as an online service. And then we have some new imagery styles. The Living Atlas is a huge collection of ready-to-use services, as I mentioned, and it's being used to fuel lots and lots of things. Smart mapping was introduced a couple of years ago. This allows us to create maps, beautiful maps. Anyone can do it by simply drag and drop and letting the computer and rules be able to make the right kind of rendering styles. We've been making progress here, taking it into 3D, integrating the WebGL performance that we have now in browsers. You can see how very fast it's rendering. And also creating a new concept. I want you to pay attention to this. Dynamic, data-driven mapping. This involves vector tiles, yes, but it's not simply vector tiles that you cache and make available. No, these are vector tiles that have attributes carried with them. That means vector feature tiles. And that means we can do client-side rendering, client-side analytics, just opening up the doors for lots and lots of new and interesting things to be done. In the world of mapping and cartography, we've improved symbology and annotation. For those of you who do production mapping, we've automated some of the aspects of making very large scale and small scale maps automatically with generalization and the rich symbology. For me, I'm excited because we've now put our services right into the Adobe Creative Cloud so that the graphic arts people can have access to the real truth data. It's a cool thing. You're right. And finally, we've integrated increasingly and improving the maps for Microsoft Office products like Office, like SharePoint, like maps for Power BI, so that normal people can have access to this data, your data, dynamically and in easy ways. In the world of 3D mapping and visualization, lots of new things are happening. I've already talked about smart maps, but new symbologies. My favorite is being able to use my device to look at the whole world through a scene viewer on my device. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can zoom into a city. This is going to be really interesting for you guys to use. And finally, as I've already shared, augmented reality, virtual reality, these are new dimensions for us to take GIS into the field and understand things that we don't understand right now. 3D is not just visualization, it's also analytics, and these are a few tools that have been added in the area of 3D measurement, 3D analytics, volumetric measurement. Governor, this would be appealing to you because you can look underground, do sections, and explore petroleum in ways that we've never been able to do before. And that's just beginning. Real-time is now a way of life. Real-time analytics integrate the sensor networks and the whole world of IoT directly into the platform using the GeoEvent server. In the last year, we've more than doubled the performance of this, but even more important, 10 times the volume. So we can deal with thousands and thousands and thousands of observations a second and see them then on our dashboards, our displays. This is a key for smart cities. It's a key for connected cars. It's a key for robotics. It's a key for a lot of things. And it's also just a key for bringing to life real time in your GIS. In the world of imagery, in the last year, we've extended the ArcGIS Pro desktop with something called the Image Analyst. And this takes Pro and turns it into a high-powered image analytics workstation. It can read virtually any major sensor, you pick it, drones, aircraft, satellites, and read it right in, and dynamically process it, and visualize it, and do exploitation of the image, do analytics. This last year, and you'll see some of this later, we've integrated with AI and deep learning devices so we can pull out features, see what we could not see in the normal picture. And many things have been added for supporting map production. Big orthophoto computations automatically with massive amounts of imagery. All of this laying the fabric for future remote sensing at scale. Insights, the little app that I told you about before, I wouldn't say it's little, but it's powerful. It's providing location analytics and visualization for people that are not GIS professionals. Drag and drop, visualization, charts and graphs, exploratory spatial analysis. And in this last year, we've added link analysis, something that many of you have asked for. Yes? Link analysis. Link charts, showing connections between things, adding powerful statistical tools. And this is opening up your world to others in your organization. ArcGIS is well known for its comprehensive spatial analytic tools. There's over 1,200 of them. This last year we added 60 more in the areas of space-time modeling, large raster analytics, hydrological modeling, new charting, and just lots of interesting improved tools. But I know some of you in this room are interested in the world of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And how do we integrate that into all that you do? Well, it's quite interesting because the lady on my right here, one of my favorite people in the world, has been steadily working on integrating machine learning into the core platform for years. These include tools such as clustering, prediction, object identification now, and her teams are working on more of it, feature extraction. These have been implemented as geoprocessing tools that you can mix and work with your worlds of geoprocessing models now. We've also been working on extending this world into the big AI platforms like Microsoft and others, and also providing access to the popular frameworks for AI. in kind of an interactive back and forth between your workstation and this cloud and powerful amount of data. I'm going to move now to app builders. App builders are technologies that allow you to build apps with no programming. And there's two of them. One is for the web app builder, and one for native devices called App Studio. And last year, over 500,000 new apps were made by you and made available to the public. Isn't that an amazing number? I mean, it's just shocking to me. So these tools allow us to take widgets and move them around and create apps that are almost like temporary apps. A wildfire comes, I can make an app for that fire, talk to the citizens, and move on. It's a different game now in terms of app building. ArcGIS is a developer platform, and it supports developers in 4 ways. First, I just want to contextualize this. Our developer platform is both for extending our basic enterprise platform and tools, but also for independent developers. It supports GIS people, it supports enterprise developers, and it supports, well, independent app developers. It does it in 4 ways. First, with Python scripting, a Python API, which we released last year. Second, with the Pro SDK, which allows you to build add-ins. Third, and perhaps most popular, is the web app builder, the JavaScript API, which supports very cool web apps. And finally, the native device apps, which are supported by runtime. These runtimes are new libraries that are very fast, extraordinary actually, that you can embed inside of devices and build apps around them that work both in a deployed environment, but also in a connected, disconnected environment with your system. I'm going to talk about a couple of these. One of them is, the first one is JavaScript API. And here you see this client-side capability. Earlier I mentioned this idea of feature tiles. As we serve feature tiles, I'm getting access to the full data. And the JavaScript API, think of it like it's a bunch of little software that lives inside your browser that does powerful things with your data. So I'm serving these tiles, and I can render them locally in my browser, and I can do analytics in my browser. And it's so cool. I mean, this is going to open up broadly the use of GIS across, I think, society. The second development tool that some of you, actually I think most of you use, is Python scripting. And this shows up in 2 areas, one with ArcPy in the desktop, and the other one is with the new Python API that lives in enterprise and online. And these 2 environments allow us to automate or script in order to automate work that we do, workflows, and also do fundamental data science. What's intriguing about both of these environments is they are written in Python. And they open to us opportunities for leveraging the whole Python open source ecosystem with lots and lots of science people working away in their own worlds. ArcGIS is engineered to be open and interoperable, and we do this in 3 ways. First, by supporting all the leading open standards and formats. But second, by engineering direct connections between our platform and many of the other platforms, like the Adobe Cloud, or like the Autodesk relationship and dozens of others. Third, we design into the core platform an open architecture, so it's open data, open APIs, open source components, integration with open source tools, and an open architecture that can be extended easily by developers. The success rate that we've had with this is really shocking. I mean, the evidence that this is a successful strategy to be open is shown by the tens of thousands of situations where our tools are operating in heterogeneous environments around the world. I'd last like to talk about ArcGIS products. These are the products actually that we manufacture, and they are primarily one product, ArcGIS. It has 4 components, and I'm going to show you a little bit about each of these components. These are the tools that you actually work with all the time, but they are continuously evolving. These 1,200 engineers that work at Esri, that's their life is to evolve and make things better. And by the way, as I go through these, I want you to note at the work that's going on as it relates to you, because those engineers are all here. I want you to take this opportunity to be with them. You are the eyes and ears of our product, and helping them direct their work is very powerful. It's been part of the nature of this relationship for 38 years. We're going to start with ArcGIS Pro. This is the professional GIS desktop. And let me just note here that while ArcGIS Pro is our main world of innovation, we're going to continue supporting ArcMap for years and years to come. Okay? In the winter, we supported Pro 2.1's advanced by introducing lots of new improvements. And this summer, just a few days ago, we released 2.2. And this, likewise, you can look through here, lots of new improvements. The ability to read BIM files, for example, or do 3D multi-patch editing dynamically. And what's coming on our radar here, I want you to be aware of, is complete 3D voxel, 3D interpolation work, parcel management support, dimensions, and lots of other cool things. Pro has a number of extensions. Analytic extensions, visualization extensions, and, as I mentioned earlier, a brand new extension called Image Analyst. And this is extraordinary. You'll look at it and love it, I know. The other one is this one called Locate XD. Funny name, but it's for unstructured text integration. The second pillar of our platform is ArcGIS Online, and this is a complete mapping and location intelligence platform. It has nearly 6 million subscribers at the moment. This is growing very rapidly. It's a very vibrant part of our organization. We make over 1 billion maps a day on this platform, all over the world. And here again, we've made lots of improvements. The team here is working very hard. Easier search, smart mapping in 3D. Well, you can look at the list here. Last week, we received notice from our federal government about a major security authorization test that we passed, which is the Fedramp authorization. This is very valuable for federal customers because it means we've passed the test for secure management of data. But for the rest of you, it should send a message of the strength of this environment we're all worried about in the world of craziness that we live in about security of our information. So it's a big thing for us. In the future, coming are lots of new things here, including the ability to store and manage imagery in ArcGIS Online, and more IoT integration, and the ability to do cross-organization collaboration, and lots of other things. Again, I invite you to visit with a team here because it's a powerful and interesting team. Similarly, the team for ArcGIS Enterprise, the third leg of the stool, so to speak, is all about data management and analytics and server-based mapping. And here again, we've made many improvements. Look down the list. This summer's release includes one of my favorites, which is something called Sites. This is a use of microsite. It's a microsite builder, so you can build little focused web sites for different parts of your organization, within your organization, making it, again, easier and focused. And last year, you'll remember last summer, I guess it was, you asked for us to make available level 1 users free in enterprise. And that was done in the winter. Yeah, that's good. I just want you to remember that because speaking to our people and squeezing them, well, it works, apparently. We've also made it easier to install with Enterprise Builder, new releases here, integrate with DevOps tools, and lots of new things coming. Again, you'll see in the fall and in the winter. The ArcGIS enterprise architecture, for me, is very interesting. It's modular and massively scalable. It means that I can deploy ArcGIS server and portal independently and at scale, and also have extensions independently deployed at scales for imagery and real-time and big data analytics. And the little ArcGIS monitor allows me to monitor what's going on in my ecosystem. And I realize many of you have one server, not 4,000 like NOAA or 6,000 like UPS. But still, the architecture, at least for me, is interesting because we are going to have to scale what we do. So the groundwork has been done. This architecture also includes the ability to have distributed collaboration, which means servers can be in multiple places with specialized data sets, and we automatically replicate the guide to the content, the little items that get stored in the portal. So I can replicate these for not only inside the organization collaboration, but also externally now to ArcGIS Online. And traveling with the web maps and traveling with the apps is also the related content. This is very exciting to me. I mean, it makes me shiver. I get so excited because it's one of the keys to making collaboration at scale, the kind of infrastructure for our planet, work. The fourth pillar in ArcGIS is ArcGIS Solutions. And this is solution components. We have a lot of people working on this. These are industry-specific apps and maps and tools that extend your basic enterprise systems. And they're very popular. I mean, we've had 500,000 downloads of this just in the last year. And there are like 400 of these modules. They are open source. They're fully supported, just like they're part of the platform. And the best part, of course, is that they're free. So, you guys taking advantage of this? I hope so. At this conference, we're announcing something new. It's over on the right, which is solution configurations. And this is taking these basic solution building blocks and organizing them into pre-configured, ready-to-deploy combinations, or you might think of them as bundles, that can be rapidly implemented by yourselves or by some of our business partners or by Esri itself. They can help you. Now, at this conference, we are also introducing a whole new class of software products. These products directly support focused workflows. They're both separate, but also integrated with GIS. The first one we actually released last summer, Hub. This is all about community engagement, directly supporting the engagement of community engagement, I guess. And second, Indoors, which is all about smart buildings and urban. Well, I'm going to tell you more about these in the next couple of slides. ArcGIS Hub's been designed to transform the relationship between communities and the citizens that live there. And there are dozens of communities now, cities around the world, that are organizing and leveraging their connections, their stakeholder interactions with open data and policy initiatives and community portals and performance dashboards, engaging their citizens. This is really interesting. Started here in Los Angeles initially. It's now spreading around the world. The second of these focused solution products is Indoors, shared with you the first time right now. This is all about smart buildings, and it's looking at the transactions for use and management of smart buildings, like operations management, asset management, wayfinding for the people inside the buildings. It's a complete indoor mapping and location system. And the third, perhaps for me, the most ambitious, the most exciting, the most, I think, ultimately impactful, is something called ArcGIS Urban. And this, I think, will have the net effect, speaking as a planner and landscape architect, will have the net effect of revolutionizing how we do city planning and design around the world. It involves buildings, plans, indicators, all the urban landscape information. So what's next for all of Esri's products will be continued incremental software development and continuous development in the online environment. Lots of agendas here that we're taking on. And again, I invite you all to talk with our development team about how you want us to calibrate our work. These are all active projects underway right now.